Hello, everyone, and welcome to Schwab Coaching. My name is Cameron May. I'm a senior manager and education coach here at Schwab, and this is Getting Started with Thinkorswim. And it's the holiday season, and I suppose in preparation for that season, our engineers at Thinkorswim have been working behind the scenes, cobbling away at some new tools that have just been released. We're going to be unboxing some gifts delivered by those engineers. This is Thinkorswim's 2024 new releases for the holiday season. It should be a great discussion. 7 new tools and 5 new indicators that have been added to the Thinkorswim desktop platform. We're going to be going through the new tools, do sort of an awareness campaign regarding the indicators, but a lot to cover. We're very much looking forward to it. A lot of those, I suppose you could say, they still have that new trader tool smell, if you don't mind me mixing my metaphors. Anyway, let's get right to it. As we do, of course, I want to first of all pause to say hello to everybody that's already chatting in out there in YouTube land. Great to see Speak Truth and Ricebird, Will, Eva, Life in the Fast Lane, Lawrence, everybody else. Thanks for joining us week after week. We really do appreciate your attendance, your contributions to these discussions. If you are here for the very first time, I want to welcome you as well. And if you're watching on the YouTube archive after the fact, enjoy the presentation, but be aware that you're invited to join us in a live discussion. This is a Monday series, but I have some news about that. For now, it's a Monday series. And for now, it starts at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. There's a change to that coming up that we all need to be aware of. But anyway, in any case, everyone's invited, if you want to put it in your personal calendar, to join us in the live stream. We'd love to have you here. And I also have my very good friend Brent Moores, who's been hanging out in the chats here with us. Brent's going to be assisting with any questions that I can't get to just during the flow of the presentation. Thanks for being there, Brent. And Brent and I would like to issue an invitation to you to follow us on X if you're not doing that. You can follow Brent on that platform at Brent Moores CS. You can find me there at Cameron May CS. That's a great resource to extend your educational offerings from Schwab. It's the best place to connect with your favorite presenters. So make sure you're following there. But let's go right to the disclosures associated with investing and trading. Risk is real, so we need to bear these important disclosures in mind. The information here is for general informational purposes only and should not be considered an individualized recommendation or endorsement of any particular security, chart pattern, or investment strategy. Schwab does not recommend the use of technical analysis as a sole means of investment research. Investing involves risks, including a loss of principal, and any investment decision you make in your self-directed account is solely your responsibility. Okay, so I think you already have a good grasp of what the agenda is for the day. Thinkorswim's engineers did just roll out a whole slate of new tools for the desktop platform. So we're going to be going through those 7 new tools, 5 new indicators that I wanted to make those who might have been waiting for them, want to make you aware that they are there. And then I'm going to give you some additional resources that you can use after we're done with our discussion. So let's go right to the Thinkorswim desktop platform. And the first thing I want to show you is found just added right up here at the top of Thinkorswim, but right now there's actually not enough space. This one is one of those that's impacted by your selected application setting. So if you like to use the large font on Thinkorswim, there's not going to be enough space to see this tool. So the first thing that I need to do is come up here to the little gear icon. Let's change the application settings, go to the look and feel, and I'm going to switch my font size from large. So you're going to have to do some squinting. Will, you're excited for this? Excellent. Yeah, put on your, I literally keep reading glasses right here next to me. Sometimes I'm going to need them. You might need them today. I'm going to change the look and feel to small and apply that. So what you'll notice is that created a nice big field up here, included in which now is a plus button. And if I click on this, the function here is that we can actually follow the quotes of a series of symbols here. So for example, let's just put in Ford, symbol F. All I do is type in F. So it starts with clicking on the plus, enter your symbol, hit enter on your keyboard. And now we have a static quote for maybe a stock that the trader is following, or maybe we want 2 or 3. Now it depends on your font size. Medium, you're only going to have access to maybe 1 or 2 spaces here. With the small font size, and depending on the size of your screen, you can have up to 4. Anyway, you just enter your symbols right up there. There's a Citigroup. How about, oh, it looks like we've run out of space. I can create a little bit more space if I come over here and change my account menu. Let's go to the all accounts. It's just a shorter display there. It doesn't take up as much space. I get a little bit more room here. In any case, there we go. So we do have this new static quote function right up there at the top. And to close out those quotes, we can just click on the symbols again. And that gives us, as a matter of fact, mine are still a little bit compressed. Let's click on one of the first two. There we go. Now we can close out that first one. We can close out the second one. We can close out the third one. That's how it works. Okay. So with that demonstrated, let's switch this back to large so everybody can see my screen much more easily. There we go. You can put away your reading glasses. Pine Tree 64Z. So did you see how to remove those? Click on the symbol. It'll give you an X to get rid of those. All right. So next up, we've had a change over here in the left column. So we start at the top. Let's move over here to the left. And one of the gadgets here that's very commonly used, I see this used all the time, is the watch list. And there are a couple of new column choices that can be made here. And they have to do with those that keep an eye on extended hours trading. So this is aftermarket stuff. So right now I have as columns market capitalization, and I have the last price. Let's click on the little gear icon here, select customize. And we can find all three of the new columns if we just type in EXT for extended. And you'll see we have extended session last price. We have extended session net change from the close of trading, extended session percent change from the close of trading. Now, what I would suggest one might do here, let's add these. Let's remove these two since we're talking about the extended hour stuff at the moment. There's another column that might be useful, and it's today's close price. So I'm just going to type in today and choose today's close or today close price. Let's add that. It just gives us a reference point. So I'm going to highlight it here, move it up to the top, which just means it's going to be the first column shown next to symbol. Click OK. So what we're left with here now, if I open this up, I can see the close. Now the session is still, the trading session is still open. So I'm getting NA right now. Yeah, there's still an hour of trading left. But after trading closes, we'll be able to see the closing price. And then it will be more meaningful to see the extended hours last price and the net change from the close, the percent change from the close. In any case, just wanted to make you aware that those are some new columns for those that like to keep an eye on the extended hours sessions. Let's just remove those again. Just to show you the complete process, go round trip with this. Let's add market cap back so it's going to be a little bit more familiar to those that watch my webcasts on a regular basis. And we'll add the last back in here. So click OK. Some nifty new tools there. Right now, there's a new tool that's been added to the activity and positions that's also shared on the account statement. And that's something known as a price improvement. I don't know if you know what that is, but let me show you where it's found. Then we'll talk about what it is. So right down here under quantity, we can just click on quantity. When we click on quantity, what this does is it shows us the trade details of a position that we currently have in our portfolio. So this is my Apple position. It tells me when I traded it, when I entered into it. In this case, it was 10 shares purchased long. I can see the average price, and you'll see there's something known as a price improvement right here. Price improvement is just a heads up that this trade, if it filled at a better price than just plain old market price. So for a buyer, that might mean getting filled at a lower price than the ask price. For a seller, it might mean getting filled at a higher price than the bid price. We'd consider that an improvement. And this would show us the degree of that improvement. Now, within our paper money, this function doesn't populate. But in a real account, that's right where you would find it. You can also find that if we go over to the account statement, and you can add that as a custom column. If we were to go, I don't know if I have any loaded up right here. Actually, here's the issue right here. I switched from a specific account to all accounts. Some functions on Thinkorswim are specific to individual accounts, so we need to choose the account. There we go. Now we can go to our trade history, for example. Let's set this for, how about we just set it for 365 days back. We can look at the trade history. But in any case, we can customize right here and find among the potential columns, price improvement. Add that column, move it up to wherever we want it. Let's put it right up by, let's put it up where it's just going to be nice and visible. Click OK. Anyway, So the price improvement, which is displayed right here, you'll notice they all show zeros because on paper money, there isn't a price improvement. But I did want to show where that could be found. So 3 pretty nifty new tools that have been added to Thinkorswim Desktop. While we're here on the account statement, I wanted to show a tool that's been added recently to other areas of the platform, but it's now available here on the account statement. And that is what's known as a sticky header. What in the world is a sticky header? Well, let's illustrate this. How about we go with, it looks like we have quite a bit of activity here in order history. If I scroll down through my order history, we're looking back 365 days, seeing all of the orders in this lightly used demonstration account. But as I go down through this, keep your eye on the headers for these columns so I can see the time placed and the spread, the side, the quantity, the position effect. As I scroll down, I lose those headers. So now I'm looking at, information that I might not know exactly what that's making reference to because I'm missing the header. Well, those headers can be made sticky or anchored to the top of the display by clicking this little anchor button. And you've seen this probably on the activity and positions before, but that's been extended now to the account statement so we can turn the sticky headers on by clicking on the little anchor. And now as I scroll down, you can see price, expiration, quantity, all of those are right there at the top. Pine Tree64Z says, thank you for this. Absolutely my pleasure. Yep. I figured 'tis the season. Let's do some unboxing of some what I consider gifts from Thinkorswim developers. Doing a great job, don't they? Okay, so those are 4 tools. Now let's go over to charts. And there have been some cool new tools added to those to the chart functionalities as well. So I'm going to pop over here to charts. And the first thing I want to do, you'll notice that I have 2 studies. Now, if you haven't added a study to Thinkorswim charts before or a technical indicator, those can be added in a couple of ways. One way is to go up here to our edit studies icon. And how about we also, let's just throw RSI on here, just as an example. So we're going to put it down here under MACD. Let's add that to our chart, click apply, and click OK. But when we have a series of studies, sometimes the chart can get a little bit cluttered, or maybe one study, we don't care about it on a different stock symbol. So sometimes we may want to just tuck one of the studies away, but have it there quickly for a quick retrieval later. Maybe we just want to hide it and unhide it. Well, a function that was added a couple of releases ago is to hide one of the studies. Yeah, you can right-click on a study and hide that study as long as it's on the price chart. The right-click function, for example, I can use on the moving average. Can't use it on MACD, can't use it on RSI. And to retrieve that study, I might have had to go up here and find that study and show the study again. Well, I don't have to do that anymore. What we can do now, we can go up here to the little flask icon, and there's this little eyeball. Can we see it or can we not? There's your hint. So I'm going to hide that MACD. Now let's hide the MACD histogram. I was going to say the moving average. Let's hide that MACD histogram. All we have to do is click on the little eyeball, apply, and click OK. It's still there for quick retrieval. It's just currently hidden. If I want it back, click here, unhide the eyeball, click apply, click OK, and there's my MACD histogram again. So a new hide, unhide feature. Duke of Foxborough, that's pretty sweet, isn't it? Yep. Yeah, so if we move from one chart to another and we don't really use the MACD on that second symbol, it can be quickly hidden, then retrieved for maybe a third symbol. Now, speaking of all of these functionalities and navigation among and between them, here's a little tool that can be hidden. Not everybody knows about it. I know Brent's a big fan of this one. But right up here at the top, I'm going to show you something that actually has to be activated under the chart settings. Okay, I'm going to click on the chart settings right up here. And where it says My Tools, notice that says off right now. It means the feature that I'm about to demonstrate is not currently accessible on charts. So I'm going to switch that to on each chart and click apply. And the moment I did that, now you see there is, as I point up toward the top of the chart, there's this drop-down menu. It hides itself. If I move away from it, it hides. As I go back up there, it displays itself again, but it's loaded up with all these drawing tools, with studies, with styles, with time frames. Now that's a new feature here. This tool has been available for a long time. Time frames were not available. So what I wanted to show was, first of all, how to activate it. Now let's talk about how to add things to it. So I'm going to come over here now that we know that it's active. Oh, here's another thing. You can pin it to the top of the chart so it doesn't disappear. So if I move away, it's disappearing. I have to go back and retrieve it. Exactly, Duke of Foxborough, you can pin it right there. That just keeps it static so it doesn't disappear. And you also still have all of your quote information down below. You have access, quick access. Maybe you like to draw lots of ovals. I do when I'm illustrating these, when I'm doing these demonstrations. Or you like to draw lots of rectangles or trend lines or Fibonacci retracements, or you have preferred indicators. You just want quick access rather than loading them up through the indicator menus. You can load those up here using this little gear icon, the customize icon. Here are all the ones that I have, and you'll notice I've also organized them. This isn't always the case. For example, let's add a new one. Let's add a new drawing tool. I don't know what it's going to be. How about a channel tool? I use channels fairly frequently. By default, that's going to be on the end. So I still have all the ones I had before. Can't see them all. So there's a little arrow here that wasn't here previously. It used to be we were limited to 7 of these icons. That's now been extended to 25. You can have up to 25 in your list, and you can see the rest of them by clicking on that little double-headed arrow off to the right. So there's the channel, but maybe I want that channel to be over here with my other drawing tools. Well, just click on the little gear, click and drag that channel up there. Let's put it up there by our text note and click done. There we go. So now I have those drawing tools. And if I want to edit them, I could just come here and maybe I don't want that anymore. Let's delete what that's. It's called a button. So there are 6 nifty new tools that have been added to Thinkorswim. I'm going to change my tools again. Another thing that we could have done is just change this to a single panel, which is going to create that pop-up that we just saw, basically. And let me see where that popped up. I have a multi. Anyway, it pops up and oh, actually, let me click apply. That's what I didn't do. Anyway, got one step ahead of myself. But yeah, you can have a panel to work with those and then maybe set it off to the side so you can make a quick selection that way rather than having it as a row across the top of your screen. So it's not chewing up sort of real estate on your chart. But I'm just going to switch it all off. This also just demonstrates, let me go back to the gear icon here, demonstrates for you, don't be afraid to experiment in your paper money with a tool that you haven't encountered before. Get in there, click around on things. All right, but let's turn that off. Click apply, click OK. That way it's not popping down anymore. It's not in a panel anywhere. So there are 6 new tools. The 7th one, I'm going to hold off on that. Because while we're here on the charts, I want to show for those who are dedicated chartists, we have 5 new chart indicators. Chart studies have been added to Thinkorswim Desktop that I want to make you aware of. This is not going to be a demonstration of those indicators. I don't know how good you are as a presenter. I consider myself to be okay. And trying to demonstrate 5 new indicators in a 25-minute, 30-minute session is going to be a little bit too much heavy lifting, but let's be aware that if we go up here to the edit studies, first one that I want to show is called the stochastic. Let's type in stochastic as our keyword, and you'll see one right here that's not going to be familiar. At least it might be to some. Maybe you knew of the indicator, but it wasn't available in the menu. Now available is called the stochastic distance oscillator. A second is called velocity and acceleration. With each of these, if a new indicator has been added to Thinkorswim, there are definitely some resources available to you to start to learn about that indicator. First one is to click on the little question mark right next to an indicator. If you're not familiar with it, click on that little question mark. It's loading for me right now. Sometimes when I'm running a WebEx, I'm doing a live stream, it can put a kind of a drag on the bandwidth and slow things down in my presentation. But this will give us a definition, a basic introduction to our indicator. But I also wanted to show you some other things. So we're not going to wait for that to load. We'll just make you aware that velocity and acceleration has been added. But the final three are related to each other. The second two of the three that I'm about to show you are actually built on the first. So the third indicator, called the ultimate smoother filter. And then while we're looking at ultimate, we'll also see we have ultimate channels and we have ultimate bands. These, if you load these up, you're going to see some similarities between these and maybe some other indicators you've already heard of, maybe Bollinger Bands, those sorts of things. But ultimate channels and ultimate bands are both built upon the foundation laid by the ultimate smoother filter, which is similar to a moving average. But what I probably am going to do, to rather than just make people aware that these indicators exist, I'll probably put these into my calendar to demonstrate them pretty soon in my Advanced Charting Techniques webcast series. So you might want to check that out, or just do, wait a few weeks and then do a search on our channel for these indicators. And I should have some videos out by then. Okay. There we go. 5 new indicators that have been added by our engineers to the hundreds that are already available. So for those of you who are just looking to expand your toolbox, we keep adding more and more. Leonard says, okay, so Leonard, maybe you wanted a demonstration of those extended hours columns again. Nice thing is this webcast is scheduled to be archived to our Trader Talks channel shortly after it's delivered. Can take a few hours, maybe the next day at the latest, as long as there aren't any technical glitches that just prevent it from being uploaded at all. That doesn't happen to me very often, if at all. It's been a long time. Anyway, yeah, you might want to just go back and check out that archive again to see that demonstration. But Duke of Foxborough says increasing the functionalities here is great. It is. So I do want to make you aware of a couple of other resources. This is going to introduce another tool. It's also going to show you another way that you can explore these 5 new indicators, and that is through our Education tab. So I'm going to go right to, as I hover over the Education tab, go to the Learning Center, and this is where Thinkorswim lets users of Thinkorswim know about these new releases in what they call the release notes. So I do these videos. Every time there's a new release, I'll do a video on the new releases to make sure that everybody's aware of them. But when you go to the release notes, it's just going to give us a step-by-step breakdown of these releases. So for example, these are the release notes for the November 23rd release, and you'll see, hey, extended session watch list columns, my tools enhancements, hide, unhide from edit studies, and all of the rest, new studies. So if I were to click on that release note, it's going to show us a summary of what I just illustrated in this webcast. But I wanted to point out, this one is one that I didn't really have the setup to demonstrate. So within the release notes, for those of you who use ThinkScript, you're going to like this. You can, if you use that add label functionality, you can change the position of your labels now to different spots on the chart. Top left, top right, bottom left, rather than just as a ribbon across the top. So I think a lot of you are going to like that. But also going back to those 5 new indicators that I just introduced you to, just a little bit further down, here is an introduction to those studies. The stochastic distance oscillator, here's a summary of what it is. Ultimate smoother filter, summary of what it is. Ultimate bands, ultimate channels, velocity, acceleration. So make sure that if you like to keep tabs on what's new, coming to Thinkorswim, what's just been released, make sure that you pop up the Education, go to Learning Center, and then check on the release notes. But also make sure that you're subscribed to our Trader Talks channel. Now, I have an announcement. When I launched this webcast and I said, hey, everybody, it's Monday, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Time, that's when you when you can check out the live stream. That's true through the end of 2024. In 2025, we're doing a little bit of shuffling of our webcast schedule, and this is one of those that's being impacted by that shuffling. Now, it's being impacted in a very positive way. First of all, we're moving the webcast to Wednesday. So it's going to be at Wednesday, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Time. That's noon here in the mountains, easy for me to remember. But one of the most common, if I get complaints about this webcast series, the one that pops up over and over again is, Cameron, 25 minutes is great. 45 minutes would be better. This one's going to be a 45-minute webcast starting in 2025 on Wednesdays, 2 Eastern time. So I'll look for you there. Put it in your calendar, moving this one to Wednesday. Also make a note that the calendar overall is changing. But in any case, just make sure that you are subscribed to our channel here, and then you can join the live streams regardless of when they're happening. You can find them right here. You can also find the playlist for our previously delivered webcasts. And it doesn't cost anything to subscribe to the channel. Might as well do it. Just pop right down, click on the little subscribe button. It only takes a second. But also make sure that you're following Brent and me on X. You can find Brent at Brent Moores CS. You can find me at Cameron May CS. This is where you can interact with us in between the live streams. You can see what we're up to. You can get our thoughts on, current market conditions, but also you can even see what I did over the weekend. For example, hey, there's Jennifer and me, and we're off in Moab, Utah. Had a great weekend for the holidays. So, all right, everybody, we've done what I set out to do today. That is 7 new tools. Those are 5 new indicators. I've shown you where you can start to learn about those. We'll discuss those in my other webcast series in a session coming up not too soon, not too far from now. Mike, you like the idea of the longer class? So do I. Yep. So that's starting really very soon. Just a couple more of the 25-minute ones, and we're going to kick it off, start the 45. Hey, Brent, thanks for helping out in chat. Everybody, I'm going to let you go. Go enjoy the rest of the webcast that we have scheduled through the rest of today. I will see you next week. Yep, still same time. Next week is still going to be Monday, 3 Eastern. It's in 2025 where we move to Wednesday at 2 Eastern. I'll also look for my other webcast series. I'll look for you on X. But whenever I see you again, until that moment arrives, I want to wish you the very best of luck. Happy trading. Bye-bye.